Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to DCS, and more importantly, welcome to DCS Persian Gulf map. Yes guys, it's finally here. The DCS Persian Gulf map was released into early access a couple of days ago via the DCS 2.5 open beta. Now it's very important that I stress this at the beginning. It is early access, so some things might not be finished. You might see some bugs here and there, so it's still early access. The map is in early access. Now, that being said, it looks awesome. It sounds awesome, especially the sound. The sound engine I think has been updated. Like if you click on different switches and stuff like that, the sounds are much more prominent. They are much more realistic. The engine sounds, the weapon sounds, and so on and so forth. Now before we get started and we fly and begin our tour of the Persian Gulf map, I want to go ahead and show you guys a bigger picture overview of the whole map of the region, and show you guys some of the different countries that border the Persian Gulf, and show you some of the islands, and more importantly show you where we're going today and what significance that has. Okay guys, so here we are on the big map, on the overall map of the DCS Persian Gulf map. So I'll start by pointing out some of the different countries that surround this water body, the Persian Gulf. Some countries call it the Arabian Gulf, but it's mostly known as the Persian Gulf. Now, immediately, you can see that the air bases that are in the game on this map at the moment is just around here. Now, originally this map was called the Strait of Hormuz map. It wasn't called the Persian Gulf map. Now, the reason for that name change is that Eagle Dynamics has decided to expand the map. So later on we're going to get more air bases and probably more countries. So the map can really be expanded. So the Strait of Hormuz, which was the original name for the map, is just right here. This is the Strait of Hormuz. It's basically a gap right here between Iranian waters, UAE, Oman waters, and then also international shipping lanes. Most of the world's crude oil that comes from Saudi Arabia, from Iraq, passes through this narrow gap right here. So this was that's why it was called the Strait of Hormuz map. But now thankfully, Eagle Dynamics has decided to call it the Persian Gulf map, so that later on they're free to go ahead and expand the map, which is a good thing for us. We're going to get a bigger map rather than a smaller map focusing on just the Strait of Hormuz, which is right here. Now to the various different countries. So obviously the biggest country that we have here to the north is Iran. This is all Iran. Okay. It goes all the way up to here. Then you have a tiny sliver here of coastline, which is Iraq. You have Basra. Then you have all of Iraq going up northwest. And then you have Kuwait and Kuwait City. Then you have Saudi Arabia all the way over here inland. It's pretty much all Saudi Arabia. And over here you'll have Qatar and Bahrain island here. And obviously here you have the UAE, which is a collection of different emirate states, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, so on and so forth. And then you have Oman, which goes down all the way here. Now later on, if this map is expanded upon, and we get Qatar, and we get Bahrain, and we get Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, perhaps even Iraq, this would make the map a lot more interesting, guys, in my opinion. And maybe they could expand the Iranian portion of the map as well, all the way to the Caspian Sea. You could almost link it up with the existing Caucasus map, because Iran extends all the way up to the Caucasus as well. So that's a little bit about the broader picture about what this means for us in terms of DCS. Now, in terms of the islands, now these islands are a source of contention, like political contention, different parties claiming for their own and stuff like that, as it is always, the case. Same with this, South China Sea and stuff like that. But these islands here, Siri, Abu Musa, Tomb, the smaller tomb and the larger tomb, which is called Tomb Kuchak. Kuchak means small, and this is obviously Tomb Kuchak. This is the smaller tomb, and this is the larger. It's called the greater tomb. But in Farsi, it's called Tomb Bozorg. Bozorg means big, large, and you have various different islands here as well. So these are all Iranian islands, Iranian territory basically, and Iranian territorial waters extend all the way down here, pretty much. So these islands will be all Iranian controlled islands. And obviously you've got the Kashim Islands and Bandar Abbas and so on and so forth. But this island right here, Sir Abu Nuair, I don't know who this island belongs to. It's most likely either the UAE or Saudi Arabia, but most likely the UAE. This is not part of Iranian territory. So yeah, but in today's video, I'm going to be taking off from Siri Island, heading over to Abu Musa Island, then to the smaller tomb, then the larger tomb, then Bandar Lange. Now the word Bandar means port, so this is essentially saying Port Lange. Then we're going to be heading over to Lar Air Base, and then back down to Keshim Island, and then to Havadaria here, and then to Bandar Abbas. Now again, Bandar means port. It just basically says Port Abbas. Obviously Abbas is a name, so Port Abbas, Bandar Abbas. And then we'll conclude this part of the preview of the Persian Gulf map here at Bandar Abbas International Airport. So let's get into it. Now welcome back to the cockpit, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's ask for ground power.
Chief, turn on the ground power. Copy. Ground power is now on.
Okay, fantastic. Now as I said, the sounds in the game are much better. Now I'm not sure if they've updated the sound or anything, but it's definitely improved. Like I'm not sure if it's coming through the YouTube video, but already the sound of the generator, of the external power going into the aircraft, you can see it's a lot better. I should say you can hear it's a lot better instead of seeing. But anyway, let's get the aircraft started. I'm going to go ahead and close the canopy because it's going to get really loud. Now the startup procedure in the F-86 Sabre is quite easy. Very simple. That's it. It's finished. As easy as that. Now obviously today I'm flying in the F-86 Sabre, but I'll be flying it in the Imperial Iranian Air Force skin. The Imperial Iranian Air Force did fly the F-86 Sabres in the 1950s and the 1960s. So it's a cool, bit of added immersion. So let's go ahead and turn on all the different systems. We'll turn the radio on. We'll turn on the navigational system. Now, one really cool thing, guys, the NDB systems, the NDB navigational systems already work on this map. So the next island that we'll be going to is over there. It's called Abu Musa. So I'm going to go ahead and dial in the frequency for the NDB on Abu Musa airfield, which I believe is 285. So I'm going to go ahead and dial that in, 285. Should be that one. And there we go. I can already hear the Morse code. And we can see from the radio compass. So this will point to the exact position of the NDB with regards to the aircraft. So the 0 point is directly 12 o'clock. And the arrow is pointing towards where the NDB is in relation to the aircraft. So it's right over there somewhere where Abu Musa is. So let's get the flaps down. Let's retract the air brakes. Let's get some external lights on. Let's get the pitot heat on. Now I am carrying 4 external wing tanks, 2 200 gallons and 2 120 gallons on the inboards and outboards stations. I'm going to switch over to the external fuel tanks once we have done the takeoff roll. Everything else should be pretty good. Now let's go ahead and ask for the ground power to be disconnected.
Chief, turn off the ground power. Copy. Ground power is now off.
Okay, fantastic. So we can go ahead and take off now. Let's check the controls. Rudder. Everything, yep, everything works. Check the brakes. Yes, they work. Okay, let's get going. Okay. Holding the brakes. A last check of everything. Flaps are down. Things are good. Okay, brakes held. Throttle all the way forward. Brakes released. The F-86 has never sounded this good. Pulling back on the stick. And off we go. Landing gear up. And flaps up. And then we're going to return the flap handle to neutral so that we don't lose any hydraulic power or hydraulic pressure. So this is Siri Island, guys. Now one thing that is really impressive is the quality of the water, the look of the water, guys, the color. You have the different shades of color, you have the more darker ones and the lighter ones, you know, obviously in places it's deeper, you know, like over there, and then some places are more shallower. The water looks absolutely amazing. So let me go ahead and line up with the NDB on Abu Musa. And there we go. So this is the airbase that we took off from. Right there. Now let me go ahead and switch over to the inboard tanks. Obviously to the south is the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and all the different Gulf Arab countries. And to the north we have Iran. So in the interest of, interest of saving some time for you guys, so you don't have a long video to look at, I'm going to go ahead and cut out all the different traveling parts, and then show you all the different particular destinations that will be interesting to you guys. So I'll see you guys once we're closer to Abu Musa. Okay, welcome back guys. So there's Abu Musa Island. We're approaching it at about 450 knots at an altitude of 2,600 feet. And there to the right we can see some international shipping, probably some oil tankers. Now once we hit Abu Musa, we're going to turn to heading 016, and we shall approach the smaller tomb. So there's Abu Musa. So let me go ahead and turn to heading 016. Now maybe I can take it down lower so you guys can see the water a little bit better. Now I need to watch my speed here, that I don't overspeed the aircraft. The water looks absolutely fantastic. And the funny thing is, like, the water in the Persian Gulf looks exactly like this, guys. This is what it looks like, because it's not an open ocean. It's just it's a gulf. Obviously, the water is not as deep, so it looks exactly like this. In my opinion, this is just like my opinion. This is the most realistic feeling map that Eagle Dynamics has created, by far. In my opinion, it feels the most realistic. Like, it feels like you're actually flying in the Persian Gulf. Now those islands that they call tombs, it's spelled T-U-N-B, tomb. Like, it's an ancient Persian Farsi word. Like, I tried to find the meaning of it, Like, what does it mean? I believe it means like little hill or like a little ridge, something like that. And there are the cargo ships. Another cargo ship. And the little tomb. And once we fly over the little tomb, we'll turn to heading 083 for 16. And there is the greater tomb. We have another airfield here. Okay, and here is the greater tomb. Obviously, as the name suggests, greater. It is the bigger of the two islands. A slightly bigger runway. Now I've gone ahead and set the frequency for Bandar Lenge, which is at 408 kilohertz. The radio compass should be pointing towards where that NDB is. It's more to the left. We should be pointing at it now. There we go. Slightly to the right. It should be fine now. There we go. Oil tanker. Now this place is like, in real life, this place is like filled with oil tankers. Obviously a lot of major oil producing countries in the world are using the Persian Gulf to transport the oil to the international market. Namely Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Iran, Qatar with its natural gas. And over there to our right is Kashim Island. Now once we head over to Bandar Lenge, we're going to head over to Lar, and then from Lar we're going to come back to Kashim Island, and from Kashim Island to Havadarye, and then to Bandar Abbas. Okay guys, welcome back. So we're approaching the Iranian mainland now. This is proper Iran. And we're approaching Bandar Lenge. That also has an airfield as well. And there it is. That's the airfield. And I'm assuming that's the town over there. And over there, to the right. Now let's head over to Lar Air Base now, which is all the way inland, about 110, 100 kilometers inland over those mountain ranges. Now the area all around here is nice and flat where the sea comes in. Now when you go further inland, it becomes a lot hillier, and you start seeing a lot of elevated terrain. So this is the Iranian mainland, and over there to the end of the Persian Gulf will be Iraq. Now if the advantages of adding Iraq and Iran as well as Kuwait and Saudi Arabia to this map would be that you could create a lot of scenarios, guys. For example, Gulf War One, Gulf War Two, the Iran-Iraq wars of the late 70s and mid 80s. Like, you could have a lot of different scenarios and campaigns on this map. Northern Iran, especially the northwestern Iran, is a lot more different from the rest of the country. Like, you'll start seeing much higher peaks on mountains and much more elevated terrain, and the environment and the ecosystem is a lot greener. You're going to see a lot more vegetation than southern Iran. So if they decide to add all of Iran, you're going to see a lot of various different environments, geographical locations. And as I said, like, Iran extends all the way up to the Caucasus and the Caspian Sea. So you can pretty much link up this map with the Caucasus map if you add Iran to it. Now these mountain ranges would make for really excellent dogfights. Like, you could mask yourself, mask your approach, come in, you know, do various different tactics. Because you have a series of different mountain ranges, and in between you have these valleys, these vast sections of, you know, flatlands in between these mountain ranges. So here's one. We have this mountain range, then we have a valley, then we have another bigger mountain range, and so on. I believe these mountain ranges are called Zagros. These are the Zagros mountain ranges that head all the way to the west, northwestern Iran. I'm not sure, you don't quote me on this, but I think this is what it's called, Zagros, with a Z. And there is Lar Air Base and Lar City. There's the tower. It's a relatively large town, tucked away here in the middle of these valleys. So let's go ahead and get Casham Island. That should be Casham Island's NDB frequency. Obviously, Casham Island is to our 8 o'clock now. So let's go ahead and try and buzz the tower at Lar Air Base. Doing 500 knots now. Mach 0.85. Hello. Okay guys, welcome back. So I was showing you guys most of the map from down on the deck, so I decided to climb up. I'm about 30,000 feet. Decided to climb up and show you guys the map from up here, from a relatively high altitude. We are contrailing. We're in the contrail layer, and there's Casham Island right in front of us. It's an industrial island, a lot of import-exporting kind of thing, but it does have an airfield. Now I'm not sure if it's a military or a civilian airfield. The airfield over there at Bandar Abbas International Airport is both civilian and military. It has dual use. So at the moment we're at 32,000 feet. That's how it looks like from up here. So let me begin diving. Now we want to do this gently because the F-86 will go supersonic in a dive. It is being known to go supersonic in a dive. We don't want to do that because we are carrying wing tanks, quite large wing tanks that is. We don't want to go over Mach 0.9. We can extend the air brakes to slow us down. I think I can already see the airfield on Casham Island. Yes, there it is. Now I was so pleasantly surprised that the NDBs work on this map at such an early time. You know, because it's quite early in development of the map, and the NDBs are working. I was very surprised, very, very surprised. So let me go ahead and type in the frequency for Bandar Abbas, which is 250 kilohertz. That should be Bandar Abbas, which is over there somewhere. Yep, and that's where the radio compass is pointing. That way. Now this is all marshland. These are all marshes and swamps and stuff like that. Here it is, the airport at Casham Island. Now let's head over to Bandar Abbas. Actually, before we get to Bandar Abbas, we need to have a look at the Hava Darya, the airport slightly to the west of Bandar Abbas. The apartments and the houses and everything look quite realistic as well. Like these houses and these apartments look, they resemble what you would expect to see here. Eagle Dynamics has done an excellent job with this map, and I sincerely hope that they do expand on it and include countries like Kuwait, Iraq, and the rest of Iran. A little boat, sailboat. Another oil tanker. So I believe this is over here. Is Hava Darye airfield. Hang on, let me go back around for a better look. Over there. That's Hava Darye. And this is Bandar Abbas city. As I said, Bandar means port. So Port Abbas. I believe at the moment this is the largest Iranian town that's in the map. Obviously Abu Dhabi and Dubai will be a lot bigger. But this is the biggest Iranian town. And of course over there to the east we have Bandar Abbas International Airport. Now let me go ahead and contact the ATC at Bandar Abbas. Has two runways. Runway 03, right and left. Let me go ahead and contact the ATC. Call in inbound. Okay, roger that. So they want us to land that way instead of landing on runway 03. Now guys, I haven't landed the F-86 in a while. In fact, I haven't flown the F-86 except for today in probably over a year. I haven't touched the F-86. So you guys are gonna have to forgive me if I mess up the landing. So first things first, let's reduce the speed. Air brake out. And let's dump the wing tanks. There we go. And I want to reduce my speed all the way to 200 knots. And reduce the altitude to about 1,500 feet. Okay. Okay, landing gear down. flaps down. I'm going to try and aim for the runway on the right. And obviously this is the first time I'm landing at Bandar Abbas Airport with the Sabre on runway 021. Was it? Or is it runway 21? Okay. Yeah, runway 21. I'm just trying to trim the aircraft so I don't have to have so much back pressure on the stick. Yeah, landing gear is down. There we go, not bad. Let's get on the rudder pedals. We can lift the nose of the aircraft to brake, aero brake, kind of. There we go. Keep it there as long as we can to slow us down instead of using our normal brakes. Just gonna slightly tap the brakes now. And there we go. Touchdown. Okay, so flaps back up. Air brakes are already in. Now where do I taxi to? That's the question. Over there. Now the nose wheel steering on the F-86 is an absolute pain. That thing is so difficult to control. So I recommend you guys use the if you're new to the F-86, I recommend you use the simplified version of the landing gear. I mean the nose wheel steering system, because it is absolutely atrocious to use. However, because I am me, I'm using the complex system, which makes life a lot harder. However, that being said, it is realistic. Okay guys, so welcome to Bandar Abbas International Airport. So let's go ahead and park the aircraft somewhere here. Preferably somewhere where the front of the aircraft is facing out towards the desert rather than other people, because we are a military aircraft and we do have front-facing weapons. Okay, so let me go ahead and open the canopy, get some fresh air. Yes. Okay, Flaps are up, air brake is in. Okay, so the startup procedure was very, very basic. Now the shutdown procedure is even more basic. It's so easy. Very, very easy. So first things first, we'll turn off all the electrical stuff. So navigational lights off. The navigational system off. Radio off. Oxygen off. Pitot heating off. Yeah, everything's off. Okay, so now that we've waited for about 30 seconds for the engine to just idle, all we have to do is bring back the throttle, and that's it. The engine just begins to shut itself off, and as soon as the RPM, engine RPMs go below 10%, which is right here, we're going to flick the engine master switch to off. So now it's below 10%, and there we go. And that is it. That's the shutdown basically. Then you can go ahead and turn off the battery as well. And there we go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video, part 1 of the DCS Persian Gulf maps demonstration, preview, whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much for watching, and in part 2, stay tuned because I'll be showing you guys the southern part of the Persian Gulf. So the UAE and Oman. Until then, bye bye.